Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Donnie Williams Show, the show where I, Todd Anderson, tell a story from my career as an actor, and I do it at the behest of Donald Williams, a person who told me I should do this. I have no will of my own. Um, COVID times got me thinking about other people in the entertainment industry who are like me, have been out of work all year, struggling to figure out what to do. And I have an affinity for stand-up comedy. I grew up watching it a lot, and a lot of my heroes were stand-ups. And I decided when I was a kid that I would give it a shot. The first time I did stand-up, I did it while I was in high school. I did it in Harvard Square, a place called Catch a Rising Star. And it was a very good experience. Cambridge, Boston crowds, or at least back in the early 90s and late 80s, were really a receptive, good-humored bunch. So they were easy to play to. But then when I went to college in New York, I gave it a shot there too, and it was a very different vibe. It's not a pleasant environment, stand-up in the early 90s. But, I did it because I'm an entertainer, I'm a performer, I wanted to get on stage. There weren't very many stages I could get on when I was a freshman, so I started doing stand-up. I did it throughout college, mostly, open mics and showcases and things like that. Never really got anywhere. But there was this one open mic. What could happen to you when you did open mic nights? You had to be. They call you a bringer, which means you have to bring a certain number of people to the show, or you can't get on stage. Usually it was like two or three people. I never had much trouble getting people in. Sometimes I get way more than two or three because I was in college and it was easy to round people up and say, hey, come see me do stand-up. And the problem with that is if that was the case, then the manager a lot of times would hold me till the end. And when I say the end, that's the end of a 4 or 5 hour night of 5-minute sets of usually terrible comedians. So they'd hold me till the end. So by the time I got on stage, the people who had come to see me were now angry at me. And another thing that would happen, even if they don't hold you to the end, is sometimes you'd be about to get on stage, and then some famous person would stop by the club, and they'd want to do a set, and the manager would bump you, would push you to after the celebrity. And this one night, I was gearing up. I was about to get on stage. The manager said, tapped me on the shoulder and said, I'm bumping you. Chris Rock just showed up. So I got bumped because of Chris Rock, and he went on stage and did a good 20 minutes, whereas I was only allotted 5, and he came in out of nowhere. I got to 20 minutes, but he was on Saturday Night Live. He was famous. He did a whole joke about Judd Nelson being the token white guy in New Jack City, a movie that he was in at the time. Anyway, so while he was on there, another guy came in. His name was Rick Aviles. If you know the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore, he's the criminal murderer heavy guy in it, the hitman or whatever. I can't quite remember. Anyway, he came in and they were going to bump me for him. Rick Avila is a very nice man, and he said I didn't, they didn't have to bump me for him. He just wait to go after me, and it was a really nice thing that he didn't have to do, and he was very supportive. And while Chris Rock was on stage, he was just sort of talking to me quietly about, sticking with it and just doing the work. he was a really cool guy. Anyway, so and then I got on stage, did my 5 minutes in between Chris Rock and Rick Aviles. So I like to think of it this way: is that Chris Rock opened for me, and I was the middle, and I opened for Rick Aviles. That's how I look at it. I look at it as yeah, I'm better than Chris Rock. It's not true. I know. I just think it's a fun thing to say. That's all. I don't think I'm better than Chris Rock. Maybe I would have been on SNL the other week. I don't know. It's hard to. It's easy to be a, Sunday morning quarterback for SNL. I mean, I know it's Monday morning quarterback. That's the phrase, but because I was talking about SNL, I said a Sunday morning quarterback because it's after set. This has been a Blursh production. Blursh.